What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is Lord PeteyTV here to give you another weekly update of what our Mythic Plus affixes are going to be. Now, if you're wondering what's going on, first of all, I've had a crazy week. Stream computer broke down. I had to make another computer together with my gaming machine to make sure everything's working so I can give everybody content, make sure we're continuing to stream. And just to tell you, make sure you hit that subscribe button here so you can continue to see all of our fun little facts and everything that is going on with our Mythic Pluses and everything else. As for what I want to talk about this week, our Mythic Pluses. So our Mythic Pluses this upcoming week is going to be week 12. I think it's week 12. And it's 12, 13, something like that. But anyway, so this week is going to be Tyrannical, Bursting, Grievous, Thundering. Okay, and we're going to talk about those, and we're going to go through it all. By the way, new microphone. Hope this is way better for everybody between that. All right, so okay, so this week is going to be, like I said, Tyrannical, which is bosses have more health and deal more damage. Bursting, which is going to be non-boss enemies explode on death, causing damage to everybody, and then increasing death and damage over time. You have Grievous, when you are going to be under 90% health, people get a dot on them, which ticks for more, causing more problems. And then after that, we have Thundering, which is enemies have more damage, and then you get the Thundering affix, you gotta swipe it off. As for, let's take a quick look at these right here, and let's take a moment and think about it. The tanks are going to have they're going to have a little bit of a harder week, in my opinion. The reason why I'm saying that is because Tyrannical is going to cause a lot of problems for bosses, which is going to be very, very worrisome there. So you got to be very, very concerned with that. Bursting. Bursting is going to be a problem if you pull too many mobs. You're going to get bursting, and then once you have bursting, you're going to get tag of Grievous. So that combo is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. So tanks are going to have to really, really pay attention to their pull sizes there. And you really want to think about that. And on top of that, you got to make sure you time them right for your thundering. The next thing you're going to think of that we want to talk about is our melee DPS. Melee DPS, just watch your Grievous. With your bursting. Make sure you continue to keep an eye on it. Make sure you watch it when everything explodes. Make sure everything is okay with that, okay? So please take your time, keep an eye on that. As for your Grievous stacks, watch your Grievous stacks. Make sure it's not too much or too little, and you can kind of work through that. If you end up getting those stacks as your melee or whatever, heal yourself. Take a healing pot, something that is going to end up making you be helpful on that. Ranged, it's going to be probably the same thing as you do your melee. So keep an eye on your pull groups, keep an eye on your stacks and your damage and so on and so forth. So keep an eye on that. Next is going to be your healers. I'm sorry, this week is going to be the worst. I wish I could help more on healing, being a hunter, but it's not going to really, really work that well. As for I say that, healers, be careful. Your bosses are going to take a lot of mana. You're going to have to deal with a lot of problems there. You're bursting. You're going to take a lot of mana there. Going to be a lot of damage there. Grievous dots. You're going to take a lot of damage there. It's going to happen during Tyrannical. This week is going to be probably one of the hardest weeks of the whole entire expansion. So keep an eye on that and try to make it easy. So next, the following week coming up, it's going to be a lot easier. So remember, you got this very hard week, and then you got an easier week coming next week. But just know, healers, that we love you and we appreciate you, and I'm sorry. There's nothing more I can say to that. Now, normally I do a run through of all the dungeons, but all of them are going to be really, really difficult this week. Just to kind of sum it up, Ruby Life Pools, you're going to have a lot of those big pulls. You're going to have a lot of bursting Grievous there. It's going to be very, very difficult. Alligator Academy, when you end up doing those, you're going to have a bunch of very, very large pulls. What people are going to end up doing, for instance, they're going to do double packs of weapons and things of that. Be very, very careful of the bursting there. You're going to have your Grievous wounds in there. All the ads around the tree boss, very, very dangerous. I mean, that's going to be another very dangerous place. Azure Vaults, you're going to have large pulls there since people are using the skip option. So you got to be very, very careful of that and their content there, or that are people walking around. So be aware, take your time. Uh, Nokad or Naka, whatever you ever want to pronounce it. That's going to be really, really bad because a lot of those places just have very, very large pulls, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just large pull after large pull. So just be careful of that and really, really watch where you're going with that. Halls of Valor, where I think you won't have, because the way the pulls are there, it's not going to be as difficult as some of the others. But where you are going to have difficulties is going to be the bosses. So that makes it a little bit on the harder side. So, yeah, that's going to make it a lot of, ups and downs and problematic. So next week, be very, very careful on how that operates and goes through. Quarter stars next week. I think quarter stars is going to be a little bit easier. The beginning pulls are going to be harder. And then after those harder pulls, you're going to be walking into, single pulls, double pulls, things like that, but you're going to make that life a little easier in that, that secondary area. So I don't think that's going to be very difficult. I think that is going to be one of the largest and best keys for all of next week. So that's going to be nice for everybody. So keep an eye on that. And then Shadow Moon Burial Grounds. Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, you're going to have some larger packs, but they're not going to be nearly as bad. So the bursting's not going to be bad because you have these large packs. For instance, you have spider bosses, the spider eggs and all those there that are pretty big, but the bursting isn't bad from them. So you're going to be okay. So I think that Shadow Moon Burial Ground, as for bursting, won't be bad, but the dots from Grievous, you have to make sure your interrupts are on par for that whole place. And now as for Temple of the Jade Serpent, Temple of the Jade Serpent is an up and down for me. I think that you're going to have some problems with those water pulls in the beginning of the dungeon. You're going to have 2, 3, 4 there. And then after that, you're going to have, your situation with the bosses. The first boss you're going to have an issue with because the first boss is going to end up having, a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? First boss is going to do like a decent amount of damage. You got to keep an eye on that. Second boss, not so bad. Third boss, you have to be careful of the second phase. And then the last boss, you're going to have to make sure you're going to end up AoEing and blasting that guy down as fast as possible. So be very, very careful for that. So all in all, I think it's going to be a very, very difficult week. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and go over every single ounce of them, but it is going to be a very, very difficult week. And I think that, if you have the ability to go through them and get those higher keys done, go for it. Next week, for me personally, I'm going to try to get a couple of those higher end dungeons down, get them down for my vault. After that, hands up, I'm just going to play with my alt and chill in lower keys because I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than I was expecting. All right. So just a reminder, everybody, make sure you hit that subscribe button here. Make sure you go to the Twitch channel, Lord PeteyTV. Make sure you hit the follow button there. If you want to support the channel, you can always subscribe there. As for always, we are there Monday through Friday. The little guy's been sick for the past 24 hours, so we're going to be keeping an eye on him. So we're hopefully everything's going to be okay with him. And then just so you know, make sure that you end up, putting any questions, comments, things like that down below. As for myself, I have been looking for a push group for Hunter. So if you're, have any availability and you want myself to join you for Hunter, or I'm working on Elemental Shaman, by all means, you can always hit me up in game or in chat. So anyhow, love you all. Thank you so much. Good luck on your vaults. Dream big. Keep gaming. Remember, this week is going to be hard, but no, it's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. All right. I'll see you all later. Bye, everybody.